acrylic paint that matches that. Um, yeah, so you can use watercolor, spray paint, airbrush. There are many different materials out there. And yeah, so what colors do you actually want to choose for your letters? I would say you want to choose colors that contrast with each other for your fill color and your outline color. And what that means is there's a color wheel. I'm not an art school student, so I don't really rely on that too much. I look at colors, that I see in nature or outside, and I know that work well with each other, that I like, and I use the color combos of artists that I like, that I see out there. So, certain color combos, red and black, work really well for me. Orange and blue, or yellow and blue, white and blue, every time you see a cool color combo, I usually write it down really quick, and that way, I could try to use it in my next thing. I use a lot of green and black. I like green. So yeah, choosing the right colors is definitely crucial. In fact, I think choosing the right colors is just as important, if not more important, than your actual letters. Why do I say that? I've had numerous cases where I've had letters that I'm pretty sure I wasn't happy with. I was completely disappointed in myself that I drew something that toy. But for some unknown reason, when I decided to pull the markers out or the spray paint out, I chose really nice colors, and somehow it salvaged the piece. I'm not saying it was my best piece, but I'm saying it came out pretty damn good. And that's all because I chose the right colors to make it pop. It worked with the flow of the letters, and I came up with an interesting background to make it work with. So, there are going to be pieces out there where you think your letters are dope. When they're in black and white, you're like, oh, this is fresh. And then you color it. You came with some whack color combo like brown and orange or something, and it comes out dull and flat and ugly. And then there are other times where you come out with letters that might look really weak and just plain and boring, but you come out with some fresh colors that just make it pop, and it's all of a sudden, one of your favorite pieces that you did, and you want to use that color combo again just to make it right. Make a recipe kind of for your future pieces that you think you need a good color combo. All right, well, I'm gonna go to the one that I tested and it works out perfectly. So I would say choosing colors has to be a very important, weapon in your arsenal to create a dope piece, and that's a skill, and you're gonna have to develop that with practice. And I'll try to give you a little pointers here and there. Hopefully, in some future videos, you'll see more of my artwork. Feel free to take my color combos, not my letter style, not my pieces, not my ideas, but my color combos. Feel free to take them. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and choose my colors, I guess, and I'll get onto my coloring. I talked about the blending, so I guess maybe I'll try to work that into my coloring this time, and after that, I'll talk about finishing touches. Okay, peace. Okay, what's up? It's QIll. It's the next day. For any of you guys who care, the Linkin Park concert was awesome. Got a good lunch in and out, and so it's time to get onto that coloring. I tested out a few shades of like blue and purple that I thought might look cool, and I decided on two colors, Imperial Violet and Violet. One thing I wanted to kind of test out and show you guys was if you get two colors and you overlay them, will the resultant color be the same if you use one color first? So how I tested that was I laid down a stripe of Imperial Violet and I laid down a stripe of Violet, and then I colored over it with the other color. And what I noticed was at first they do look quite different just because of the surrounding areas and how it contrasts. But when I outline just the overlapping areas with a black marker, you can see that they're actually the exact same. So just keep that in mind when you're coloring, that it doesn't exactly matter which layer you do over first, when you're blending alcohol pens at least. for this one letter piece, I guess you can call it, I'm gonna try my best to blend with the Imperial Violet and Violet, and also use some paint marker magic to help clean up some edges and do some designs in there. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully I don't ruin whatever I have, but we'll see. I don't have my lovely assistant with me today, so I'm just gonna have to put the camera down, I guess, and yeah, I'll show you what I have after I'm done. Okay, so here I colored up to about like the meeting point area I want with my I think this is a lighter color, the Imperial Violet than the Violet, even though the Violet is a lot more robust, I guess you can say. So now I'm gonna come down with the Violet, and trying to use as even streaks as possible. It's kind of hard to do this while holding a camera, but I just wanted to show you how I kind of just go over the areas quickly. Again, you could probably take your time, might get better results, but I feel like working with alcohol-based markers, the quicker you work, the better your results are, because the ink has more time to kind of accumulate in the areas that you want and settle and create a, you know, a kind of more smooth overall appearance than a streaky one. So I'm just trying to go right up to the line, but not quite yet, because I haven't decided how much this is actually going to blend, because I haven't really used these two colors together. They look pretty similar, but still not 100% sure, and when you're not 100% and you're experimenting, it's better safe than sorry to just be conservative and make sure you try not to ruin as much of your piece as possible. So just kind of test it out in a small, inconspicuous area. Alright, so like I said, I'm going to try to work in the blender, and I don't really like using this that much because it does make things bleed, but we'll try it out right now. So I'm just going to try to go in the in-between areas, try to, I guess, blend, quote-unquote, even though I don't think this really does that. Okay, so I got it pretty moist, and I guess I'm just going to come back with another color. I'm going to choose to go with the Imperial Violet, this color, so we can just kind of test it out and see if it'll blend that way. Seems to be doing an okay job. And then what I want to do is now I'm going to cut back with the normal violet. Whoa, lost the cap. Okay. So if you start to lose kind of like saturation of that color, I would say start from the tip and then come back down again and re-soak everything, just so you keep everything even. And that way, you know, even if you do start to mute out the colors in the borderline, you know, like the meeting point, which is what you want, that's basically what blending is, your colors will remain uniform on the outside still. And again, I'm working quickly. You could probably achieve better results taking a little bit more time, coloring in the lines, all the basics, but for the sake of the tutorial, I think you guys get the point. Yeah, and as I said before, if you use hairbrush or something of that sort, you'll definitely get better results. But you know, you got to use what you got, and I'm fortunate enough to have a lot more than a lot of people. But you know, you can technically blend with a blender. Not saying that the Prisma is the best. You could probably get a better one, a Copic, or I think it's basically just an alcohol marker, just straight up alcohol, and a Q-tip would probably work. But what I'm saying is you could probably blend with Crayolas or other cheaper markers, Sharpies and everything. It's just your results won't be as consistent, and you won't be able to manipulate it as much. But like I said, you know, Prismas, even though they're expensive, I don't think they're all that they're cracked up to be. So it would be wise to invest in something a little better, a step up. Such as the Copics, but those are like the top of the line. And most people hype up the marker, but you know, the paper matters. You know, like I would not be able to get this clean of a blend, and it actually looks a lot better in person. Yeah, I would not be able to get this clean of a blend without good paper, and that's a really important thing that a lot of people overlook. If we just worked on our original, you know, printer paper, the original letter that we had, it would be a place. You know, obviously I colored out the lines in some of these parts, but it would be bleeding all over the place, and the ink would not be as uniform. You see this? Like, you can hardly see any streaks. Only the streaks that I just put down and I was like really harsh with, you can barely see. But other than that, you know, it's pretty clean, and you know, it's soaked through because it's marker paper. You see the thickness of it, the smoothness. I don't know if you can tell, but it's very clean, and the sheen is very matte, so it helps out drying, I guess. Yeah, so now I've finished coloring. I'm gonna add some finishing touches and some designs and clean it up a little bit. Okay, and yeah, I'll show you what I have after I'm done.